so many things about how you approach the world, how you navigate the world. And honestly, it's just complicated. So growing up, I really thought of the word wise. I thought of it as someone who's like super calm. Hey, soul healers. It's your emotional intelligent bestie, DJ Lee here, and welcome to the Soul Healers community. Today's video is a little bit messy, but ultimately just a very honest conversation. It's about that weird, strange kind of in between of you're continuing learning and you're growing and you're evolving as a person, but at the same time, you still don't feel wise. You still feel like you don't know much about the world, even though you've gotten older and you've learned so many things about how you approach the world, how you navigate the world. And honestly, it's just complicated. I truthfully wanted to do this video today because I have been just thinking about a lot of things that I'm kind of going through right now, figuring out my next steps in my career and what I want to do in the next few years before I turn 35 and what that looks like for myself. And I look back of all the things that I've done, and I've definitely grown and I've definitely evolved and I've definitely have done great things, but at the same time, I still feel like I'm not exactly where I'm supposed to be wisdom wise, and I feel like I should be a lot more wiser. And that's just a really hard pill to swallow, to feel like you're not at the level you think you're supposed to be at. So if that's type of content you want to hear about today, or the type of content that you do like, I definitely encourage you to subscribe to my YouTube channel to kind of follow my life and the topics I talk about on this channel of being an adult in their 30s, kind of navigating their professional and personal life. And you can also follow me on my Instagram as well, as I post stories and post different type of content on there as well. And so with that being said, let's just jump right into this video for today. So growing up, I really thought of the word wise. I thought of it as someone who's like super calm, someone who has it together, someone who has advice to give to somebody with things that they've already been through and have knowledge, and be able to have them not go through the same mistakes as they went through, and be able to just be kind of that mentor and that older figure to them. Now, being in my 30s, being wise or having wisdom kind of feels like doubting yourself less, but still not feeling totally sure, making decisions, but still occasionally making the same mistakes, learning to pause before reacting, but sometimes still reacting anyway. I really thought that like being wise and having wisdom would give me a sense of peace, but I don't think there will ever be this sense of peace within myself, even with all the wisdom that I am going to get and I'm going to continue getting throughout this world that I'm living in. So that is just something that I just need to get over and just be aware about. But at the same time, it's hard because I get anxiety just thinking about that. And that's just something I really have to learn to navigate for myself, because I know that I'm not going to be this ultimate wise person that I think I want to be. Like, I can aim for that, absolutely, but I don't think I'm ever going to be as wise as like I thought I would be when I was younger. And that's, it's going to take some time to really wrap my head around that, but I'm slowly getting there. And I think I'm starting to really get it ultimately. There has been times where I really do question my wisdom, and I question what I've learned up to this point of being 32 years old. And I always think like, why do I always question myself? Why do I always question that I'm not wise and that I don't have wisdom to share? And it's just interesting to feel that way, because there are things that I've learned, and there are things that I should be proud about that I've learned and been able to share with the world. You know, feeling unsure about your wisdom kind of stems from, you know, the repeating patterns, reacting emotionally, even though, you know, you should be acting a certain way, and also ignoring your gut feeling. Sometimes it's really hard to think about things logically when your heart is in something, or you get that feeling that something's not right, but you ignore it anyway because you really want to do it. And that is really hard to kind of get past that. You know, there was a video that I made that you should also check out, talking about like feeling behind and stuff like that. And, you know, this topic kind of leans into that, of like, I see my other friends that are even younger than me, and I feel like they're so much wiser than I am. And I'm just like, aren't you supposed to be learning from me? Like, aren't I older? Aren't I supposed to have like all the tips and tricks for you to kind of navigate through life as an adult? And, you know, learning from them, that kind of like makes me feel a little self-conscious about my age, and being like, so where should I be at this age if that person's at that point and I'm learning from them and they're like 27 years old? And so that's been like a really hard pill to swallow as well. You know, it's kind of crazy when you actually start sitting down and you start reflecting on the things that do make you wise, and the things that you have learned, and the wisdom that you have obtained up to this point. Some things that I kind of think of are choosing to walk away from chaos, you know, being okay with not getting closure, and owning your boundaries instead of explaining them, and apologizing without needing validation, and letting people misunderstand you even when correcting them drains your peace. These are all things that I have learned throughout my life as an adult. And, you know, there's some times where I am not the most mature person, and I do not handle the situation the way it's supposed to be handled. And that's probably 25% of the time, but the other 75% of the time, I feel like I'm pretty mature. I handle situations the way that I think they're supposed to be handled. And sometimes I forget about those moments where I was the more mature one, or I was the one that used my knowledge and wisdom that I've learned from the past and from lessons that I've learned to move forward and not make the same mistakes. But I think it's the moments where I do make mistakes, or the moments that seem pretty bad, that I remember the most, that make me not realize, but make me feel like that I'm not being wise, or I'm not using the wisdom that I've learned. And I think for us, we're just naturally always going to remember the more negative and bad things that happen to our life than the positive things that we've learned, and the things that help us elevate as people. So now, being in my 30s, what does wisdom kind of look like for me now? Being able to grow and reflect and be able to communicate how you feel, not only to yourself, but to others. You learned how to sit with discomfort instead of running from it. And wisdom now feels like less like knowing everything, and more like being okay with not knowing everything. And there's a quote that I've seen, and I wish I knew who said it, but I used to chase certainty. Now I chase alignment. And I think that quote, and I need to really find out who said that quote, I think is super clear on kind of this topic for today, and makes me realize that I'm always going to continue learning, and there's always going to be things that I'm more wise than other people, and vice versa. And just generally being okay with the strengths that you bring, and the things that you can bring to your friendships or your family or acquaintances or your colleagues or whatever. You are wise in the sense of what you have to bring to the table. And you are also wise to realize the things that you also need to work on, and get those skills to be able to be wise in those type of aspects of life as well. So to wrap up this video, it's really important to know that wisdom comes in all shapes and sizes. It comes in different waves. You may learn a lot one year, you may not learn that much the following year, and that's okay. And being okay with that. And I hope that you go easy on yourself and you give yourself a chance to breathe and learn at your own pace. And obviously don't do anything crazy or stupid, but take the time to really learn the things that you want to learn and be a better person every single day. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I really, really hope that you enjoyed what I had to say today and the topic that we were talking about today. But I definitely want you guys to really think about what is something that you recently learned that you feel wiser in, and then also what is something that you don't feel wise in that you feel like you could definitely go out of your way to learn. And make sure also to subscribe to my YouTube channel to watch more videos. Make sure to watch all my past videos as well. I think those are really great conversation starters for your friends or your colleagues or your family. So make sure to watch those videos, and also make sure to follow me on my Instagram as well to kind of see what I'm up to. And join the Soul Healers community. I would love to talk to you. Make sure to leave a comment. I respond to all comments in the first 72 hours of the video being posted. And I just would love to have a conversation with you. So don't hesitate at all to reach out to me at any point if you have any questions or want to kind of have a conversation around anything. So with that being said, keep thriving, keep striving, and until next time, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.